Hello everybody, welcome back. This is the right atmosphere to be creative, and I just want to show you how I realized the last piece that I wrote that you have seen on the video on the Sibillini Mountains. I've been hiking with friends of ours on the Sibillini Mountains, and during the day I was just thinking it would be nice to write a piece of music that might be able to color with the music exactly this, what we lived and what we saw, the darkest green and the brightest green and the white and the gray and the black and the blue of the sky. I mean, there was everything that day. And being a pianist, what I did, obviously when we, a visitor, when we came back, I was sitting in front of my piano, just playing around like always to find something, some melody, some theme that I could use to then work it up track by track to orchestrate it. I'm working in this case with Project Sam's Orchestral Essentials and with the solo violin from Spitfire Audio, a stunning library for a solo violin. And what I came up with on the piano, which the piano sound is from the chord Chrome. I just filtered it a little bit to have it a little bit darker, is this melody. And then in the middle part, I'm changing a little bit to D minor, going down to A minor, to B flat, F, then an G sus4, G major. That's more or less the chord progression. Let's just have a quick listen to the piano track. Okay, then I came with the violin, and as I told you before, this violin is amazing. The legato from one note to the other is just incredible. Everything is just playable. There are some details that you can modify on that patch, but you don't need to. Even if you play trills, they just fire the sample of the trill and everything. It's incredible. So there is the violin. Just have a quick listen. And listen to this legato, it's incredible. So what I did, I was just accompanying the violin with some arcs, but some really small, I think it's only a quartet of Sordino. Have a listen to it. And I'm introducing here even a solo oboe, which gets a very small line. I'm planning out the other ones. Then I bring in the woodwinds. Very soft, very subtle. And then just to get the idea what's happening, here for the first time I have 3 horns bringing this. So this just gives you the idea, oh wow, the whole orchestra is present. And then there comes the second part where I'm using the staccato strings. And even here I already started to introduce the low booms and the percussion. You may didn't hear them, but they're present, and they just give more volume to the whole thing. And then when just before the second part starts, I used the bell tree and a harp. I will take out the other tracks to make it more easy to listen to. Okay. And then the second part starts, which for the violin I choose to accompany it with these epic horns. Even if they're quite soft, it's not the 40 horns that Hans Zimmer is using for Inception or something like this, because I didn't want to go too big. I wanted to keep it still nice, present, orchestral, but not too big. So the violin, you can still hear it, and the arcs and everything, but the horns, of course. See, they're there, but they're not overwhelming. They're not eating up all the other instruments, because, you know, we have the brass here, we have the woodwinds here. There are other horns. So if I take out just the so all this is played by the brass and the woodwinds. And even there, you know, if you play with a virtual orchestra, which happens always, it happens always more often. It's just even for the simple fact, just imagine, I was using more or less 50 musicians on this piece. And if I would have done to do it with a real orchestra, the problem is, I mean, first I have to write the piece, then I have to print out all the notes, I have to hand it out to the musicians, they have to study it, then I have to work with them, each single person play like this, play like that, and then you have to pay them the day you record everything. You have to rent a studio. I mean, a piece like this can end up, you can imagine the cost, and if you work with virtual sample libraries, like in this case, I mean, there will be people that hear the difference, but it's really a few. You need a really, really good trained ear to hear that it's not real instruments, but sampled instruments, if you follow certain rules, like a woodwind. You can't make him play a note like for 4 minutes. No one can hold a breath for 4 minutes. So what I used to do quite often when I play in everything that goes with the breath, I'm trying to breathe out whilst I play the note. And when my breath is going to stop, then I even have to stop the note. I mean, they're more trained than me. For sure, they can play longer notes than I can. But more or less, I get the idea what they can do and what they can't do, which is quite important in my opinion, to give it this certain realism. Like a mistake that many people do, if we go for the arcs, for example. I mean, I'm a pianist, they're keyboard players, they get these libraries and they start to play then the strings like they would do on a keyboard. This is not how it works. Strings are quite emotional instruments. You can put a lot of emotion in, but then you have to work with expression and with dynamics, like and I can do this with these faders. And I mean, playing in a piece like this, it takes you 2 or 3 days. But then to elaborate it, you can see here all these curves, the dynamic curves and everything. This took me nearly 1 week, track by track, instrument by instrument, to work on all these curves to make it more realistic. And then at the end, just to make it a little more epic, but not too big, I introduced even the singer, which here has 1 phrase, and then I go to the A's, It's the same thing here. If you use with the sample for a singer, I mean, this one is fantastic because it cuts out the alone after a certain while. But even there, keep in mind what they can sing, what they can sing. And yeah, more or less that's it. That's the piece that I came up with, and I hope you liked it. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. If you want to comment, leave it in the comments. If you liked it, please just leave a like. I'm happy for every like that I receive. If you didn't subscribe yet, so subscribe to the channel if you like stuff like this. If you want to see more videos like this. I will now show you again the whole piece, even with the pictures, because even the pictures obviously made it this fantastic. And have a nice evening, and see you next time. Bye bye.